YouTube, we back part 2 with the big homeboy. We finna collaborate from the part 1 for it can lead over to the part 2. And basically what we were saying at the end of the part 1, that back then, a lot of homeboys, we didn't really know that it was taking advantage of the homegirls. We thought because a nigga probably was in physical good condition, looked it decent, had a little money, had status in the hood, that we can get any of the homegirls. So when the homegirls were saying no, a lot of us didn't know that they know really meant no. And we just thought that they didn't want to be a hoe. That was their representation of saying they wasn't a hoe. And we didn't know by them still giving it up, it'd affect them decades and decades later, and they'd have an ill feeling behind certain homies' backs. Along with homegirls doing the same shit with younger homeboys, taking advantage of them and shit under the influence of drinks, or just the homegirl having status, having a little money, and feeling like she can have a young homeboy as a play toy or torpedo or whatever. It could go both ways. So I'm going to go on and let you take the floor, big homie, and finish it back up.
All right. Well, as I said before, the problem with my community, it stems from a lot of things. Like, I had homegirls, they used to caravan with me to house parties, and there was like 3 of them, mainly just 3. The rest of them, like, we'd just meet up at house parties. Now, I had one homegirl in particular, she used to go to house parties. She used to always do things like walk around. She had her own little cup. She had a little red cup walking around all night. And she used to tell dudes, like, whoever getting drunk, she gonna give them some. So when she used to say that, a gang of people would mount up, and next thing you know, her cup stayed full, and she was like a gas tank, she drinking and nobody ever seeing her run out of drink. So this one particular party we went to, she started, every time you turn around, her name coming up as she done got drunk and everybody done tossed her up. So this one party we go to, the homies tell me she in the bathroom doing it again. I don't believe it because I never seen it. So I was like, let me slide back here and check on it. I go back there and for sure, I knock on the bathroom door and walk up in there. She's sitting on the toilet, drawers missing and everything, and drawers over in the bathtub, and she just sitting there and she see me, she starts smiling. I tell her, like, get up, let's go. So when I grab her, she started trying to fight me. She wouldn't stay at the party. I grab her and tell her little homie go around back so we could get her out of there without nobody seeing us. I open the bathroom window and pick her up and just basically just threw her out the window. So I run around, we get in the car, and I threw her in the back seat. She stopped fighting and just passed out. I took her home and put some Alka-Seltzer in a little cup and set her on the side of the bed so when she wake up, she could drink and get her head right. Well, when she wake up, she see me playing the Nintendo. She recognize where she at. She get to asking me what happened. How she get there, I tell her what happened. She deny everything, like none of that never happened. So afterwards, I cut her loose, like, man, you fucking up. And I cut her loose. She started going to other hood parties. At first, she was just going to our party. As soon as she started going to another party, she come back the next day talking about dudes raped her at the party. And I asked her who raped her. She talking about she don't know. She just knows she got raped. She said somebody spiked the drink and this and that. And now, this pissed me off because it's hard to differentiate who's telling the truth. You know what I mean?
Right. You want to believe the homegirl.
Right. That's what the thing. You want to believe her, but it's hard to believe her when after she done told you the story, she had another house party that night. Knowing some of the same dudes gonna be there, but you had a house party again. It seemed like if this the type of stuff happening to you, you wouldn't want to go to no parties again.
And not to cut you off, not to cut you off, big homie, but we got civilians outside of our lifestyle culture. So I'ma just fill in to the civilian community within inside our hood, gang, street, culture communities. We'll have homegirls that'll get heavily intoxicated where they barely can walk, talk, stand, and basically can be coerced to perform any acts that the homies may want them to perform inside the hood. And and
Right.
yeah, it could be we taking advantage of them, but this is how some of them can get inside the community. And some homies will have a heart, and some homies won't have a heart. And some homies will defend and protect a homegirl that's like this, as well as drunk homeboys, where they might be at a younger age, and the homegirls want to take advantage of them. So you got protectors,
Right.
yeah, you got protectors that could be there to protect and save homegirls as well as homeboys with this shit. So that's what I want to explain to the civilians. So you can go ahead, OG.
Right. And then, you got to look at it like outside our community, this be happening at college campuses.
Right.
We see it all the time on TV. This can happen at college campuses. It happens all over America, whether it's in the gang community or outside of a gang community. This is the type of thing that be happening. And then, nobody really pays attention to it. The same thing is, I got a little homie that I used to mess with real tough.
Right.
And when he was younger, the homegirls, got him drunk and stuck bottles all up in his butt and stuff. And he didn't know nobody knew, but one of the homegirls showed me the videotape, And when they showed it to me, he can't say that they was raping him or nothing because he didn't put up no fight. He was laughing and giggling and playing with them. He wasn't like, don't do this or do that, you know what I mean? He was with it. So years later, he go to the pen, we in the pen together, and a homosexual walks up to me and asks about him. Like, do you know such and such? I said, yeah, I know him. He like, yeah, that's my man. I'm like, that's your man?
Huh.
I'm like, which one is you talking about first and foremost? And he tell me which one he talking about, because, the homie that he was talking about, he got like 4 or 5 little homies. So
Right.
I'm like, who is you talking about? So the homosexual say the whole name, his mama name, all type of stuff that he shouldn't have no type of record of. So when he said it, I was like, okay, it's some truth to this story. So
Right.
I go grab a homie and pull his coattail, and I'm like, man, what's going on? What's all this about, And he gets to telling me about his childhood, about him being molested, and by him being molested, it kind of distorted his mind to where he liked the girls in public, but he grew up liking boys, and he was ashamed of it. So he used to mess with girls in the public eye. And when he came to prison and saw other dudes mess, he felt it was okay to do it in secrecy and wouldn't nobody know. He didn't think the homosexual would be the one to tell on her. He thought, it'd just be secret. And it's kind of messed up that people growing up going through this type of behavior,
So it's like, but so a motherfucker come up through this, then the nigga hit the hood. So this shit didn't have no outlet for him, homie. It just basically it used and abused him. Then this culture can use and abuse motherfuckers, homie. That already came from a abusive background. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
and that's why the dudes in our community grew up doing some of the stuff they do. Like, for instance,
when
you got dudes that women shamed when they was kids, so they grew up beating on women and all type of stuff from the stuff that happened to them as a child. All it takes is sometimes a simple conversation to trigger it. Like, for instance, a girl tell him something like his thing too small or he too ugly, that'll cause him to stalk her and jump on her late night, jump on her back and do something to her. And it be the same thing for girls, when they be having boys tell them they ugly and they ain't nothing. And girls be feeling like now, when they do get a guy that like them, they got to do whatever he says to prove themselves, to prove that they worthy of his love, when really it's all a manipulation tactic.
So it's basically, homie, like, shit, homie, this gang life, it was a savior for some, and it was a destroyer for some, homie. You know what I'm saying? That's how I take this.
Exactly.
That's how I take this whole topic. You know what I'm saying? And even for even for the homies, that went through trauma, then come over to the hood and experience more trauma. Like I said, we can't save everybody, homie. All of us ain't peaches and cream in the turf, homie. You know what I'm saying? All of us is not peaches and cream in the turf, homie. And a lot of the homegirls ain't peaches and cream in the turf. You know what I'm saying? Because they hold the same power as us. Even though they females, some of them still hold the same powers as us. They have brothers with rank, or they either family have rank, or they just inherited rank just from banging, doing the same shit as us, and we all then abused our powers, homie. Rather we shit didn't happen to us. Yeah, rather shit didn't happen to us and we rolled over to the gang life and finally seen a way we can illustrate some of our childhood shit, where you hear stories of homies was predators against motherfuckers. We don't know what the homies had went through, homie. And then when you find out you in a gang, then all of a sudden this shit come around where this shit fashionable to punk a nigga and all that shit. Now decades later, we shunning these same motherfuckers when we possibly wasn't all no better than the homies that was performing these acts. We was all in the county jail, all in the modules, all on telephones looking, thinking it was not really cute, but this was part of this gangster shit. Like, let a nigga fend for himself. Let that nigga try to fight for himself. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saving motherfuckers, homie. You know what I'm saying? So, shit, I guess we gonna pick back up for a part 3 on this, man. And we just shooting the shit, man, on this Monday, man. 89 on up. G stuff, not ye stuff, man. And we be back for part 3.